You were
Full
typing
send it.
questions.
No. It's okay. It's okay. Let's just full send it, you know?
Well, now I got to keep this in.
Well,
Now
we're
that
going
we're
to keep
starting.
it in. Yeah, no, we're starting.
Fine.
Oh, man.
What's up, guys? I am Justin,
And I'm Jordan,
and welcome to another video game podcast.
a podcast where different gamers talk about different games.
Except today. We're not
Yeah,
talking about games
except
today.
Today, this is an interesting idea that Justin had, where we should just kind of do a more open, kind of free-flowing podcast that's just more about like our journey into gaming and like what that was like, what good memories we have, kind of just everything we just want to throw out there.
Why we are gamers.
Yeah, why we are gamers. I mean, Justin, this whole thing was your idea, man. What do you got?
Well, first I want to start by apologizing about last week. There was no episode last week. So we had our 15th episode, and then we kind of skipped the week after. Our lives have been super busy lately. Jordan's got his kid. We both have been working like crazy. We both have the same job, and a lot of changes are happening. So we apologize, and we'll try to keep on it. We need to record more episodes ahead of time.
Yeah, it's been a little rough. Justin, I mean, you heard about this scenario that's happened at one of the stores that I work at. Like,
yeah, you're like a lone survivor because so many people were gone.
So that store went from fully staffed down to one solutions manager and one solution specialist remaining.
You should not give titles because those are very specific titles.
That's true. Bleep them out.
Ugh. How far are we in? 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Ugh.
Essentially, two of the original staff remaining. And so I work at like two stores, and so we've had to take the staff of one store and figure out how to stretch it across two stores. And it's rough, dude. I'm working 50 hours a week right now. Just today, 12. We're not going to get into the details. Whatever. Let's just get into it. You know, life's been crazy. Life's been crazy. That's all that matters.
But I thought we could be fun to do an episode that was about us and let the people get to know us more. And I think a good place to start. What was your first video game console?
My first video game console. I'm thinking back here. So for a brief amount of time in 6th grade, so I was late to the party, I owned a GameCube for a very brief amount of time. That was a baller console. That console was great.
Hell yeah.
And then I think I sold it when we moved to Africa. For those who don't know, I lived in Zambia for a year and a half. And that was like a really crazy experience, especially to have as a kid. And I think my parents kind of took pity on me, and they found someone who was selling an Xbox 360 when we were living in Africa. And so I had that for a little bit, and it immediately got the red ring of death.
Is that where you got your N-word card?
Yeah, that's where I was given my N-word card.
Yeah, because you use that word all the time, every day.
Dude, every day. Hard R.
Hard R in every sentence. He has to throw it in there. I don't know. I tell him to stop, and he's just like, what's the problem? I mean, I have a card.
Yeah, I got the card, man. I was officiated into the race.
Ooh, I might cut all this out.
Oh
This was a
man.
bad joke. I went into it thinking that you were going to start denying it and that would make it funnier, but no, the fact that you went
No.
in, I'm
Lean
kind of
into it.
nervous and I might cut it out.
I mean, I think people know that we're joking. We have no ill intent. I think it'll be okay. We have no ill intent.
You don't have any ill intent. I'm just kidding.
I mean, okay. Anyways, they took pity on me and they bought me like a 360 and immediately got the red ring of death. Immediately. But I brought it back with me to the States when I moved back
Which ones?
to the Nebraska state. That one.
Nebraska states.
Nebraska states. And got like they like GameStop I think gave me like $80 in trade-in credit for a red ring to 360. And my parents gave me or bought me a PS3. And that was like the first console that I really truly owned and played a lot of and have a lot of like fond memories of. Justin, what about you?
I got into gaming very young. I remember my first console was also the GameCube, but it was when the GameCube was fresh. And I remember the first game I had was the demo disc that came with the GameCube. It had very, very small version, like literally just demos of different games.
Whoa. A demo disc?
So
That's
it had
wild.
it had demos of Sonic Adventure XD. It had Splinter Cell. I can't remember which one. It had It's called Beautiful Joe. I think the game is called. It's like a side scroller. It's really cool. Soul Calibur was on there, the fighting game. But I remember the levels and everything. I remember that disc like the back of my hand. Like I played the hell out of that disc. I mean,
That's wild.
that was back in the days of memory cards, you know.
Yeah, of like memory cards. Throwback. Actually, I just had a thought. Did you ever own like a joystick? Does that even count as a console?
I wouldn't.
I don't.
I did, but like you're talking about the ones that plug directly into the TV with like the red, yellow, and white plugs.
Yes, yeah. I had a couple of those growing up.
I had a pinball one, but that wasn't until after my second console. But it was a pinball one, and I still have it, and it still works.
That's awesome.
There were
That's
three pinball maps on it. One of them was like a space one. The other one was a racing one, I think. And then the other one was a caveman one with like a volcano. It was super cool. But yeah, I still have that thing.
Would you count those as a console or no?
No,
Okay.
that's a game.
That's fair. I had one that was like it had like 10 games in one joystick. I had one that had like Galaga, it had pole position, it had what's the ghost one? Pac-Man. Had Pac-Man. Low key though, the best game that was on a joystick. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Mappy, Justin? Do you know what that is?
Mappy.
Mappy. Do a quick Google search. See if you can just find like like watch like 10 seconds of gameplay.
Oh,
from
Mappy Land?
No, not Mappy Land. It was just called Mappy. M-A-P-P.
With the mouse?
Yeah, with the mouse and the people chasing, and you have the doors and.
That's Mappy Land.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. My
at least-
joystick just called it Mappy.
Oh, look, I think there were a couple, but yeah, Mappy Land. Mappy was a TV show at one point.
Underrated game.
Whoa, it became a TV show, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
Wow. I had no idea.
Mappy, episode 5, Spring Cleaning.
I think if I have to think back to like the very beginning of playing video games, that is the earliest recollections for me is like owning a joystick and then also like sleeping over at friends' houses whose parents let them like play video games and had like consoles and stuff like that. Did you ever play RuneScape, Justin?
No, I didn't. I have played RuneScape, but it was never a big part of my life. Real quick though, so I wasn't quite done talking about my journey of my first consoles. I had the GameCube, and then I got my brother's old original Xbox, and I played the hell out of a game. It still is great. It's still great. Incredible Hulk: Ultimate Destruction, where it's an open world Incredible Hulk game. You could do awesome stuff. It was way ahead of its time. You could like break apart buildings. You could like if a helicopter shot a missile at you, catch it and throw it right back. You could like do the thing from the Incredible Hulk movie where you take a car and you bust it in half and they become punching boxing gloves. I'm like, oh, so good.
That, oh man, the fact that we just do audio right there kind of made me sad because like I could just see the joy in your eyes and just like the flashback that you were having right there.
Oh, it's so much fun.
And may I say, your beard looks mighty strong. I don't think I've ever seen your beard this strong.
Like long?
Yeah, just long and thick and just, that's a chunk of beard right there.
Are we talking about my beard?
You tell me.
So I tried to trade in my GameCube, and I went to this was an old shop that's no longer there, unfortunately, that I loved called Play and Trade. It was like GameStop, but they actually gave you money, and they were like a mom and pop shop. I tried taking it there, and they were like, "We have too many GameCubes. We will not accept your GameCube." They had like a ton of GameCubes that they couldn't sell. So that GameCube is still somewhere. It does not work anymore, but it's dude, I remember on the GameCube when the wireless controllers came out, they were silver. And they had, they were silver, and you remember the plug-ins, right? With the wired controllers. So, like, they had a receiver box, and you would plug that in instead, and you would have to dial them in like a walkie-talkie. You would have to, like, they had a dial 1 through 10 on both the console or on the controller and the receiver. You had to, like, turn them both to 2, and then they would work together.
That's wild.
It's so dope. And then we had a Wii. My parents, like, they didn't care if I gamed or not. That being said, there was a point, it was like in middle school and or pretty much throughout middle school, that they were like, "You're gaming too much." Games were like everything I did. So yeah, but they didn't let me buy a whole lot of rated M games or anything like that. Like my friends were playing Grand Theft Auto in 6th grade. I was never allowed to touch Grand Theft Auto. I one time traded a toy of mine for my friend's copy of Simpsons Hit and Run, and my mom made me trade back.
Man, my parents were kind of the same way. I really wasn't allowed to play video games that much, and when I was allowed, for the most part, like, it was I needed to buy everything myself. Like, they would not buy me anything. Oh, I just had another great flashback, and that was Justin, did you ever own any handhelds, like when you were really little? Like,
the Nintendo DS Lite was my home. I had everything from like dude. You know what was baller in with those things is that the game cartridge was the memory card. So if you bought a used game, that you could be like on a maxed out thing. I had a Transformers game, and I remember I lost it. I was really sad, and I wasn't even that far in. And my mom was like, "We'll just go to the store and get you another one." So they bought me another used copy, and that dude had like everything unlocked, and so I was like, "Yeah!"
That's awesome. Growing up, I had a PSP, and that was my pride and joy. That was my baby.
So underrated.
No, actually, I don't think PSPs were underrated. They got the hype they deserved.
No,
I think
like
everybody loved PSPs.
I think the DS got way more of the love. PSP.
I guess I could see that. There was a lot of DS.
Vita, like the newer version, that one got like shafted, even though it was great.
Man, that's wild. So yeah, I had a PSP and I remember like getting Lego Star Wars for Christmas. And I also remember getting Star Wars Battlefront on the PSP for like Christmas. And like Christmas and birthday, I would get a ton of PSP games. And I would just I loved them. Oh, SSX. I had the snowboarding game SSX on
Oh
PSP.
yeah, that was
Oh, it
like
was
that was
incredible.
the. Do you remember the Tony Hawk games?
Yep, yep.
BMX games, those were really good for me. I love the BMX games. They all had something in common, which was they all had a rockin' soundtrack.
Oh yeah, I still there's games from like Tony Hawk and SSX that I still listen to. Like I have in my Spotify collection.
Oh yeah, me too. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's
And
wild.
then I was in like fifth grade when my dad played games at the time, but he didn't wasn't a gamer by any means, but he played some video games. And he showed me Oblivion, which was the one before Skyrim, and that was my first intro into what like games that weren't made for kids. Dude, do you remember back in the day when movie tie-in games didn't suck?
Yeah. Like
Like
what happened?
I had like a Madagascar game that freaking ruled. There was a Barnyard game that was it's still so I actually when I got this PC, I downloaded a GameCube emulator. And so I play GameCube games on this PC and I replayed Fairly Odd Parents. I replayed through Surfs Up, the video game, and I played through the Barnyard video game again. Like playing all these games that from when I was a kid.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. I remember like a lot of video games based on movies that were awesome. But I also wonder if our standards have changed. And so, like, if we were to go back and play it now, we would look at it and be like, oh, this is shit.
Well, that's the thing. I just did. Like literally, like last month, I downloaded
Yeah.
the emulator and I started playing all these games again. They were not nearly as hard as I remember them being, but they were still really good.
Yeah.
Way more attention was paid to in those games. Um, I have two questions here. That have you gone back or at least use your memory? Um, is there any game that you played when you were a kid that you loved that I want one that still holds up and one that is crap, but you remembered it as being amazing?
Okay, so still holds up is going to be my first one. And I want to say, because I actually got it on my PC. Like I got the PC version of this game, Star Wars Battlefront, the original, the first one, and like playing the Galactic Conquest mode that they never brought back. It was like this. It was like this collection of Star Wars planets, and then you had these moving troop ships, and you would try to like take over the map and wipe out the Empire. But like, so there was like this strategic part to it where you needed to like meet at these choke points and take over this planet, and the planet would actually be the multiplayer map. So then you would go play like a classic conquest style game mode that you'd think from Battlefield around this world, and you would, if you won, you would get power-ups that you could take with you into like other troops or the space combat. The space combat was so fun in that game. That's one that really holds up for me.
Heck yeah. For me, one that really holds up is on the GameCube. I played this Crash Tag Team Racing. So you remember the Crash Bandicoot games?
Yeah.
So there was one called Crash Team Racing, which was a kart game, which they just re-released. They did a remastered version, and now there's also there was also a Tag Team Racing, which is like, imagine if in Mario Kart you could. So this was just dope. You could activate a merge mode where when you bumped another player, you would merge cars with them. and one person was driving and one person was shooting a turret, and you just blow up other cars. Sick. It's sick. And then,
So
like,
would you guys become a team, or is it still like only one person can win, so you need to find another vehicle somehow?
yeah, only one turret person is technically the winner. And I can't remember how it prioritizes it if you guys both cross the finish line at the same time. So what I would always do is I would merge with someone, annihilate everyone in my path the whole race, and then I would, right before I hit the finish line, I would unmerge. And when you are the person to unmerge, you get a boost in front of them.
Oh, that's genius. So just get to the
like,
person in second, really.
yeah,
Or
exactly.
in first. And
It
kill
took
everyone behind
place
you.
in a theme park. Every area in the theme park was a platforming section, like the regular Crash Bandicoot. And you had to, like, basically do a platformer to these races. And if you found these little Easter eggs, like, you could make something blow up and it made a new doorway, and you then made a shortcut for that race. So, every kart racing game has their shortcuts. You could not get to those shortcuts unless you did something in, like, the platforming world to do it.
Yo, that's wild.
The game is so good. It still holds up. I played the crap out of it with that emulator. And then, what about one that is crap?
No cap, Minesweeper. Fuck that game.
That's
Minesweeper.
barely a video game.
It's so much math.
It's counting, not math.
Man, Minesweeper. Do you remember like that weird pinball game that was almost on every computer in the early 2000s?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is also another one that comes to mind.
You're like doing cop-out games that are just like defaults on a PC that everyone has played. No, like what do you remember a video game on a console or like an actual game that you had to buy that you were like, man, this game rules, and now you look back and you're like, man, that game sucked.
Yeah, actually, one comes to mind. The 2020 Marvel Avengers game. I mean, I played it and I beat it, but man, it was bad. I'm glad I only spent like $20 on that game. It was on sale in the Steam store, and I was like, screw it.
All right, so Jordan clearly doesn't have an actual answer.
I was trying to come up with an actual answer, and let me tell you, man, nothing really comes to mind. I think if I had to pick one,
you need to go back. You need to download the emulator and like play these games you played as a kid and get nostalgic.
Some of the OG Pokemon games I feel like are kind of dumb now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Not nearly as detailed. Some of the new Pokemon games are dumb.
Yeah, that's fair. But you're right. I don't have a good answer for this one. I apologize.
No, you're good. The one that I chose is a game that I don't know why I thought it was so incredible, but I remember getting it for the Wii on Christmas, and I literally screamed when I got it because I was so excited. I was a kid, but it was Sonic. It was oh gosh, it was. I just had it in my head. Hold on.
Like, was it a racing game or no?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, one of the Sonic kart racing games. Okay.
No.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh, it was like the running one because they're all running characters.
No.
No?
Sonic Riders. It's a racing game where everyone's on hoverboards.
I vaguely remember this game.
Dude, that game sucks. Like, it's so bad. They introduced a new character for it. I can't remember his name, but he's like this green bird, and he's supposed to be your rival. And like, he's like faster than Sonic. And dude, I don't know how I could even see in that game, because like it is so horribly fast that only as a child, when I was at my peak of ADHD, could I have at all comprehended that game. It's a nightmare to play, and it controls horribly. I have no idea how I got good at it.
I was looking it up right now. I may have played this game once or twice, but yeah, it looks pretty... It looks like a cheap knockoff of Smash Bros. Why do I get that vibe?
I don't know because it's a racing game.
Yeah, I know it's a racing game, but just like all the promo for it
Is
that I'm
it
scrolling
like
through,
the polygon models? Maybe
maybe that might be why.
I don't know, but no, yeah, that game sucks. That game's bad.
Yeah, just not good.
What Oh, dude, this is supposed to be a mini, but do you mind if we go for a little longer than 30?
Yeah, I mean, where are we at right now?
I mean, we're at 25 minutes.
All right, yeah, let's keep going.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This is fun to just walk down memory lane. What was your earliest memory of a very difficult game?
You can hear my dogs going insane upstairs.
Oh yeah, your dog's going crazy.
Yeah, they're going psycho right now. Um, do you remember that Star Wars? It was for the N64. God, I was obsessed with Star Wars as a kid. Obsessed. Anything
Ooh,
Star Wars.
I
But
was it the ship one?
no, the pod racing one. I remember that one being really hard.
Star Wars Pod Racers.
Yeah, I think it might just been that for the
Oh,
N64,
wait.
right?
Was it Star Wars Episode 1 Racer?
Hang on, I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, dude, this game looks rough.
Pod.
The only thing I'm finding is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
I think that was it.
Like, the gameplay looks rough.
It was so hard, man. It was so
Dude,
difficult.
I don't know why, but because these games are pretty easy for most people. Like, they're challenged, but they're not known for being hard at all. My first hard game I remember that I like couldn't get very far in was The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Zelda is supposed to be pretty, like kids and adults can get into it. But there was one boss that was like this giant centipede monster with one eye. For some reason, I could not beat it. I could not beat it to save my life. And I eventually gave up. I need to go
We've all
back
been
and
there.
beat him. I need to
We've
go back
all
and
been
beat
there.
him. Because it was
Watch
in
you
the
just
beginning, too.
watch you just do it on the first try. Like
I mean,
you're like, I was stupid back then.
well, when me playing all those emulators, I was like, man, I'm beating all these games in like 3 hours. And back then, it was like 3 weeks. I could beat a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Justin, I want to ask you this question that you have on this list here. What was your biggest gaming achievement? I liked that question. It's like, wow, that's a really like what's like the toughest not necessarily the hardest game, but
Well,
like the
it's gonna be when I beat a boss in Zelda Wind Waker. No. My biggest gaming achievement. I think it's a very recent one in comparative to what we've been talking about. But when I was in like junior year of high school, I played like for about 3-4 years. I played a game called DC Universe Online, and DC Universe Online is an MMO, and it's placed in DC Universe, and you get to create your own hero or villain. And I remember I had like MMOs have guilds and stuff like that. Well, in this game they were called leagues, and I created a league out of fun. Like I just did it for like a fuck it reason, because I was like, why not? And like I call it like it was not serious. I called it the Heroes of Heroic Harrowing Heroism, and it ended up becoming like one of the biggest leagues in the game. And I was leading just this giant group of people, and like we were like the max level you could be at the time, and we were like top dogs. And I remember
That's awesome.
that was like the most proud moment I had. I was proud of me. I was proud of my boys. And but I think that like it was only because I worked for like years on that game,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually my account got banned for no reason. There were
No.
thousands of dollars in that game too, because that
No.
was back when I had like my very first fast food job and I didn't have any responsibilities. But I did eventually get it unbanned. I tried playing it again, and I was like, man, I'm like half of the level that is max now. So I was like,
Yeah.
and so I remember recently I got back on. The league was dead. I mean, leagues come and go. And I just put a final message to the league, like a final captain's log, and I was like, I love you all, and I'm really proud of everyone. And I like signed off, and I haven't played since.
Oh, that's awesome.
What about
That's
you?
awesome, man. Wow, that was such a heartwarming story.
Dude, that game is crazy. Like, it's one of those things where like it's probably one of my favorite games I've ever played in my
Hmm.
life, and I'll never play it again because
Yeah.
I
You don't want to
refuse to
ruin
get
it.
I don't want to get back on my same character because there are still people I knew that are still playing, and I don't really. I've been gone too long, and then and then also I don't want to start a new character because I don't want to be a noob again.
Don't make me go back. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
also that game used to be owned by Sony, and then it got bought, and the new company is fucking garbage, and they're called Daybreak, and they are the most money hungry sons of bitches. Like you can literally, so I think the max level when I last looked checked was a little over 200, and you could literally pay money to skip the tutorial and get straight to like level 80.
So it was like the very first like, hey, you can either do the battle pass or for $10 or for $20 we'll start you on the battle pass at level
It was
25.
worse than that because it's sort of
Yeah.
like, do you want to skip half of the game, and then also you could pay another package of money to be like, we'll put you right at level 190,
Oh my god.
and it's like, it's not cheap either. It was like if you want to do that with one character, it was like $80. The company sucks.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about mine. What was my biggest gaming achievement? I think my biggest gaming achievement, I have a couple of different things. One, being in the 0.01% of all Battlefield 1 players on. No, just across the board. Just that was like when that game first came out, and I was in college, and that's like all I did. I almost failed college.
So
because
wait,
of
were you the
Battlefield
best
1.
in the world?
No, I was not the best in the world, but I was in the 0.01%.
So you could have done better.
I could have done better. There were, yeah. I think out of the millions of people who played that game, there were like maybe a couple thousand that were ahead of me, and that was it. Like I played that game religiously. That comes to mind, and then also my overall record on Kino der Toten for zombies in Call of Duty Black Ops 1,
Which was
level 70. Like I made it to round 70 on Kino der Toten in that map. It took a
Child's
couple
Play.
of days. It took child's play. My name's Justin. Child's play.
I'm here. I'm here to shit on you. No, were you by yourself or were you with someone? Solo. Let's go.
Solo.
Have you ever been able to do better than that with a person or no?
No, with people is harder, I think. Because the more people you add in zombies, the more zombies they spawn in per round. And it can be harder to control the train of zombies that you get behind you. Because like if you're not careful, your trains could intersect and then you have zombies coming at you from all directions. Where when you're playing solo, and as long as you keep moving, it's fine. Because they will always be behind you because they're always slower than you. Except for like new zombies, they have like some special ones, but I'm talking about like OG Black Ops 1.
So when you taught me how to play zombies properly, and we did the whole like save one zombie at the end of every round so you can kind of get your stuff done.
Yeah.
I remember I just recently used that in Sea of Thieves. Because Pat and I were...
Round based. Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Pat and I were fighting skeletons, and we had like one left, and we were both running low on food. We knew that there was a barrel a little bit away, and so I was like, "Oh, let's do the COD zombies thing. Let's wait."
Yeah. Yeah. You don't always need to kill them right away. But yeah, I would essentially run in a circle around about half of Kino der Toten, and I would just use the MP40, and would have it upgraded.
Is a place, by the way, in case anyone didn't know.
Yeah, it's a Nazi zombies map from Call of Duty. It's like in a theater with a stage, like a live theater, not a movie theater. But they also had movies there. It's confusing.
Is that the one where you play as two German dudes?
No, you would either play as the classic zombies characters. So you'd either play as Richthofen or Takio or the Russian guy, I can't remember his name, and the American.
How do you spell Kino der Toten?
What? K-I-N-O.
How do you spell Kino der Toten? Kino der Toten.
Oh, man. Kino space D-E-R space, and then it should come up.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Is this the one that I think it is? Hold on.
Share your screen real quick. Let me see.
Starting room.
Share your screen.
I played the crap out of this map. I was never good at zombies. I never actually played it well or anything like that. But I remember my buddy had Black Ops 1, and that was the only COD game I played ever. And that was the first COD game I played.
Black Ops 1 is, I think, one of the best I think it is debatably the best Call of Duty of all time.
Dude, I had fun. I remember, we would set, personal records for ourselves. And you know what my personal best was with him?
What was it?
Round 9.
That's terrible. Oh,
we would always get fucked by the dogs.
The dogs are so easy. It's literally a single bullet.
We were children. And it was we were like, they're so fast, and we didn't have any strategic mindset. We went in guns blazing, not caring about our ammunition, and always trying to just buy guns. We didn't try to buy doors. We were just like, I want guns. And so we just shot ourselves in the foot every time, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, those OG COD zombies maps, I really hope that Cold War, because Cold War zombies are pretty fun, I will admit. I really hope they do another DLC where I can buy a bunch of the old zombie maps. I would really like that. If I could spend $40 and get all the World at War and Black Ops 1 maps from zombies, but just with better graphics. Totally jump on that. They did that in Black Ops 3, I think.
Yeah, did they redo it in Black Ops 3?
Yeah, 3 you could.
It a lot.
3 you could. There was a huge collection of zombies maps in Black Ops 3.
Oh, and so it looks like they redid Kino der Toten. Kino der Toten.
Yeah, they've done it once already. I just want them to do it again.
And
so I can do it on my PC.
Well, it's on Minecraft. I'm looking at pictures of Kino der Toten remade on Minecraft.
Share your screen with me. Hit the share screen
Oh my
button.
god.
Just hit screen. Let me see.
So there's some Kino der Toten action.
Yo.
But this
That's
is
awesome.
This stuff is pretty cool.
That's cool.
But it was this is what I remember, you know? But it was this room, the main room, but I was like, man, why does this look so pretty? And I was like, oh, this is in Black Ops 3.
Yeah, see how many perks he has down there? A lot of those perks were only from,
But I remember having a lot of fun. Dude, the zombies in most video games are not scary to me, but I think that even the ones in cod are not necessarily scary, but the sounds that they make are horrifying.
Yeah, they're like zombie sounds. They're screaming zombie. Yeah,
They are the scariest part. Like they're the scariest zombie sounds in any game. Look at that one.
That's wild.
Man, people work hard on stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you think maybe we should work hard on this podcast?
You don't?
You do?
Yeah.
This got really awkward.
Speaking of podcasts, we're kind of just trailing off and like lamenting about this game at this point. So I think that this is a good place to wrap it up.
Okay. All right. This was a really fun trip down memory lane.
If you guys want us to do more, like we've really just talked about really early stuff, and honestly, I could probably talk about this for stuff like this for a long time.
I could too.
If you guys would like to see kind of more of like a free flow episode every now and again where we don't really necessarily have a topic, let us know if you like it. You can reach out to us on all our social media at AVP Casting. YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere you like to listen to podcasts. Yeah. Jordan, do you have anything?
No, I just love you all, and I'm sorry for missing a week. This was really fun.
Yeah, man, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.